Yeah. Vanglorious Vanguard.
Knowledge born.
Yeah.
United Front. What you want, what you want, what you want.
To the Knowledge Radio.
We in here. What you got? Dot.
Work hard as a slave to one day be your savior. The wave unwavering. This is a labor of love. Rise with a purpose every day. Invigorated. If we were on TV, we'd be 10 times syndicated. If we waited for validation, a paycheck or accolades, we'd be starved, already lost or ran away. But when you're square solid and you circle too, you don't need a place for silence. The concept is conquered through media, not areas of people activity. A mix that don't lose ethnicity, tightness that don't lose elasticity. Explicitly, this isn't where we give the novice regard. Nah, this is where knowledge is born. Last time that I checked, I'm undefeated. Deliver edicts, can't resist when the gods build and manifest freedom. When lines get crossed, they may push a loss, cause they get handed a check. We kick a can and cancel your cancerous gestures. A prophet vision, precision, the prescription for the sickness is to inoculate your fate with the winning. Arrogant beginnings turn to humble endings. And US with KBA is a win-win. 1K.
Poetry.
My money's been acting funny lately. And I don't mean ha-ha funny. No, I'm talking strange, weird, different type funny. This time, money's going all out. Leaving me, showing up, then leaving as quickly as she came. Ignoring me, treat me like a poor man. What'd I do, boo? All I ever did was love you. Maybe too much, because now it's like we ain't cool no more. We used to be road dogs, inseparable. But lately my money's been acting funny and I haven't seen money in months. I got more than a hunch she's playing me. Trying to make me jealous. Hanging out with other fellas. Always in some other brother's pocket. I try and tell her, man, those other guys are just using her. They just using you, money. She don't want to hear me. She don't want to hear me. She don't even return my phone calls. She don't stop by the crib like she used to. She won't go to movies with me. She won't even go get nothing to eat. And you know a brother can't eat without money. Don't you know I miss you? I want you. Okay, I need you to survive. My life revolves around you. I can't replace your money. Believe me, I've tried. There's only so much bread and water I can take. Call me spoiled, but I remember the days when people used to see us at the hottest clubs, the expensive restaurants, all the high-priced stores. I made sure I looked good with money. I treated you right. I never abused you. Did I? Did I abuse you, money? Did I get used to you hanging around and now you giving me a taste of what it feels like to live without you? People still think we're tight. I mean, they still ask about you. I don't like them all in my business, so I just reply, you know, money and I aren't as close as we used to be. My money's been acting funny lately. I can't even call out a name when I'm shooting ball. Oh, I saw her the other day in Beverly Hills. She didn't even acknowledge me. She looked at me like, how you get in Beverly Hills? Like I don't belong. Ever since money hasn't been around, I feel like I'm losing my other friends too. American Express, Visa, Discover, now they starting to act shady. I think she's spreading lies on me. I tell you, I don't know what I did, but my money's been acting real funny lately. And I don't know her anymore. And my life ain't the same. Never will be the same until money comes back into my life. So if you see her, or any of her cousins, because she got a whole bunch of family running around, let her know that I miss her, that I love her, and I want her to come home.
All the way from Muskegon, Michigan. Give it up for my man, Deaf Poet, Poetri.
Everywhere I go, I see cute people with ugly people. And I can't help but to ask myself, what does she see in that guy? Inner beauty? Well, I have a whole lot of that. I see these happy couples and I used to think, What do I have to do to get a girl like that? And then that evolved into, what do I have to do to get a girl? Now I'm exhausted from thinking, fatigued from trying to convince myself that I'm worthy of another being, tired of looking, but not really looking, so it doesn't appear that I'm desperate, weary of being afraid to tell someone that I'm interested in fears that they will avoid me, consumed from being alone. No longer will I be at the mercy of women that like me. No longer will I try to look my best for women that don't know that I'm in love with them. No, all that is finished, finito, completo, no more oh. From now on, I'm dating myself. I mean, I already talked to myself, so I know my conversations will be good. I've always said I wanted to be with someone that's just like me. Well, there's no one more like me than me. It's not like I'm dating my cousin or nothing. I looked it up. There's nothing in the law books to say a man can't date himself. I don't know why I didn't think of this before. I amaze myself sometimes. I laugh and joke with myself on lonely days, praying hard for better days. Now we can get through the rough times together. No one to impress but myself. I mean, I'll probably still play games with myself, cry to myself, lie to myself because I hate to hurt myself's feelings. I'll only be looking out for myself though. But you know how women are. Once they see you with someone, all of a sudden, now they want to get with you. All of a sudden, I'm that cute guy that is dating someone now. Well, I assure you, I'm not doing this to make other women jealous. I am completely happy with myself. I like myself. I think I'm attractive. Plan to be with myself to the very end. Or until someone better comes along.
All right, peace and love, everybody. Y'all see this blessing, y'all see this gift, y'all see what I call, he doesn't even know, but I'm going to proclaim it before the world right now.
Okay.
The red fox of poetry. The red fox of poetry right here.
That's my man, Red Fox. Okay, I'll take it.
The red fox of poetry, the gift that is him to the family in our tumultuous times and even in our simpler forms. He gave us the ability to be able to have a joy, to have a gift, to have a laugh, to have a satire, but in the same space as our ancients gave us proverbs. He gave us ancient wisdom for us to glean from in the space where we were ready to receive it. So as we receive him today, through the written word, through the verbal manifestation, through the spoken word, and more importantly, through the enrichment of the living word, it is my honor and privilege at this time to introduce some, present to others, the award-winning, phenomenal, transformative mind who uses word and sound to make our word born in sound and in light. The moniker of what he does and who he is simultaneously at the same time. I give you poetry. Poetry. I wanted to introduce you in the same way that you reintroduced Jesus back into our life.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying? I wanted to give you that living bread in the same way you gave us that living bread in the mix to everything else that was going on more than one occasion, to where he was like, yo, Jesus was a poet.
Yes, he was.
So in the same way that we could perplex our minds to get scripture from Jesus. You know, give us some scripture, right?
Right.
In that same way, you gave us, if I'm listening correctly, in that way for us to get in the way that we were perceiving when we were ready for it.
Wow.
And you did it with a smile, and you did it with love, and you did it with compassion, and you did it without patience, even if it was only for a moment while we were with you. You gave it to us. Down to the disciples. The disciples was like, yo, Jesus gone. What we going to do? What was we doing before Jesus? We about to go fishing. And the fishermen who had lived their life off of that experience, they had lived their life off of that experience, was out there fishing and they couldn't get no meat. When you could take hold of our minds and our hearts in that same way that Jesus said, come, I'll make you fishers of men.
Yeah.
I'm just sharing it with you. I'm just sharing it with you before I have any questions. I'm just sharing it with you. In that space, the way the words had came to me, just me, okay? Because I don't want to put it on the whole humanity, right? I'm just saying, and the way the words came to me, whether it was money, whether it was Krispy Kremes, whether it was Monsters, wherever it was, I had to examine myself in that same fashion. But you didn't have to make whips and go into the tabernacle and whoop me out of the place. You could do it in a place with a smile, and often places that it was met with a frown.
Right,
like, what do you mean for you to tell me about me in this space?
Right.
This is beautiful. You gave us pohop.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? You gave us pohop. There's so many dimensions to it. So I just wanted to take a time to give you an ode in a way where one of your sheep heard your voice. You see what I'm saying? One of your poetic sheep and one of your places and speeches of humanity. We heard you. We heard you, yo.
You heard me.
Poetry. We heard you, yo. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you, man. Thank you for that. Thank you. I'm glad somebody heard.
Right. How have you been?
Blessed, man. I'm blessed. I'm living life and enjoying life with my wife and my 2 kids, and I'm just living day by day.
Honest to that woman, okay? Because he was dating himself for a long time. I just want y'all to know. Okay? He was dating himself. He wrote a song about it, like, you know, so like to hear it go. You gave us a phenomenal gift. You gave us a phenomenal gift that we didn't expect to find, you know. I liken this platform and the things that I was able to do along the years. If you remember Biggie on the stage with the towel of his head at the Source Awards, you know, crooked eye and all, he's like, Brooklyn, we did it. You see what I'm saying? Like, so I was like, I think that
I can relate to that.
Right, I could do that. Not what he did, but I could do that. You see what I'm saying? I could be in that moment. I could have that moment of celebration because he's out of breath. He gave everything that he could possibly give.
Yeah, he did.
And I likened it to you because your presence on the stage was so light yet so heavy at the same time. You gave us so many things in that way. It was a bow, but it wasn't a bow that was wrapped up pretty and nice. It was a bow that had some zigs in the zag. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, all right. He's like, well, okay, we got a gift. Now we have to examine the gift and remember the gift giver at the same time. So you gave us that in so many dimensions. And it wasn't preachy, and it wasn't fire and brimstone. It wasn't any of those things, but it was everything like that all at the same time, you know? I was looking. I was like, wait, do my stomach have the monsters? Does my heart? Does my head? Where is I have the monsters? Because he wouldn't have said it if I didn't have it. So I'm searching myself for the monsters. I'm looking within, like, okay, where is it in my character that's out of whack? And I didn't find it until I was talking to Jay Ivy, and it was our monsters was in our relationship or the lack thereof with our fathers.
Mm.
You gave us dear men.
Yeah.
You gave us dear men. So I'm looking like Black Ice gave us the lone soldier. Well, you see what I'm saying? All together in that space. And I'm looking, but I'm in fatherhood. You see what I'm saying, Jay Ivy? I said, hey, that woman that loves you right next to you, she wants to give you a child. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, all right, boom. So I'm lone soldiering with the Black Ice. You see what I'm saying? So it's there together, like I'm walking through it and navigating through it without an instruction manual.
But yeah, we don't have one of those.
But Neo had a chance, the Neo fight. Neo had a chance to go through the instruction manual, but his conductor was like, this is instructional and it's boring. Let's get into something more interesting, combat training. So because he didn't go through the instructional period, even though we might get it when we're putting something together, we oftentimes rely on the eye and say, oh, okay, we got this, we got this, we got this. This is all I need. So he's like, all right, we made it happen. So naturally, Shazam, I will turn into a father. So whatever that point of reference is, we begin to draw from.
Yeah.
Instead of looking at an instruction manual. You gave us an instruction manual from a rites of passage process to redeem the king value in us in a way that we could look at our behavior and then move from there. So many things I could say thank you for, but I want to get into, this E.T. poetry. This E.T. poetry. Where in the spaces of all of this greatness do you find poetry and that you make a decision to embody this sacred space to give to us?
Where do I find poetry or the art of poetry?
However you want to go with it. It's your name and it's what you do. You see what I'm saying? So like you're the Smith, it's like A. Smith, the Smith, he's like, all of you sound the same to me. So where do you find poetry? Where does the story begin for you to find poetry and then become poetry?
Well, it started when I was like maybe 10, maybe 9, maybe 8, something like that. And I used to always get in trouble from my parents. I'm a kid. And my parents decided to punish me by putting me in my room, no television and no toys. So I'm like, what? No, I can't do that. I'm in my room with what am I gonna do? So I ended up writing and reading. And they, come on, you can come down now. But like, no, hold on, let me finish this poem. I can't stand my mother. Whatever. Right. So, and I found my poetry on what happened to whatever was going on around the area. Whatever was happening around the area, what racism is, because I grew up in a all white neighborhood. So racism going on, mom, dad, whatever was going on is what I was writing about at the time. So that's how it all jumped off.
So your gestation period, because I just showed you some books. My mother figured out that it was my gift and my gift. Okay, I didn't have a curse. Okay.
Oh.
It was my gift and my gift. So she said, as long as I had some books, I would be all right.
Yeah.
She gave me my first books.
Yeah.
So she knew who I was long before I knew.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
So she, as fate would have it, as the Most High would have it, as God our Creator would have it, we made an agreement. And my mother and father came together for that agreement to get me here to do the work that the Most High sent us to do. You know? So she agreed, he agreed, they agreed and knew each other biblically, right?
Right.
And then Shazam, you know, I'm there. And I missed the whole trimester of gestation. That was more than the 6 month.
Really?
Yes. So there's a whole story with that, you know. I wrote a poem about it because of what I heard from y'all before I even seen y'all. So LimeWire, Bear Share, you know, I share that with, you know, some of the people that come through. So I heard y'all long before I seen anything, before there was a DVD, before there was their poetry, whatever was out there. So because of y'all, I could hear Abio Dune and Gil Scott Heron and everybody come with the last poets. You see what I'm saying? So from that same space. And, you know, I could love an Oscar Grant, you know, Oscar Grant Jr. You see what I'm saying? Mucha Baruka, you know, I could love them in that space because I heard y'all first.
Right.
Because I thought I was a rapper for like 20 seconds. I had 20 hot seconds poetry of being a rapper.
Yeah, I think we all go through that. I thought I was a rapper too for about I think about a year and a half. I was MC Poetry.
Wow.
I still had the name Poetry. MC Poetry. Used to, but it wasn't my gift.
You gave birth to some MC poets and some poet MCs too in that space. So there's like, all right,
we'll let you slide.
It's out there. Yeah, right. There's the line. So how does what you did in the privacy and the sanctuary of your own home become something that you sought to pursue for the rest of your life?
Well, that's the thing. I didn't pursue it. I never. I mean, I always am a poet. I just thought I knew that it was a gift that I had, but I wasn't pursuing any kind of television, any fame, any Tony Award, Broadway. Man, Broadway. Well, come on, I wouldn't. I was just writing because I love to write. You know what I mean? That's it. That was my main. My motivation was whatever happened. Oh, that's weird. I mean, my motivation. That's my motivation. I'm about to write a poem about that. You know, I didn't even know if I was going to write another poem about that. It was just that poem is what I'm thinking of. Boom, I'm make it. Boom, and go all out in that one. I wouldn't think I was writing another poem or whatever. But it just kept going. And we were on a girl named Ronnie from Ronnie's Backstreet Poetry. I was on the bus, and she's a poet, and she ran this space called Backstreet Poetry. It's like, yo, she comes up to me, just giving me a flyer to go to her thing. She didn't know that I wrote poetry or anything. She says, yo, come to this thing. I go, oh yeah, I write this. I write some poetry. Oh, you do? Oh, you should come and read it. So I went to that Thursday, read my first poem that I ever wrote, Must Be the Chicken. And well, my first poem I ever wrote that was long form. When I was a kid, I was writing little stuff. But my first long form poem called Must Be the Chicken. And it's about a girl who is 16 and she looks 18, 19, 20 years. She looks older. You know what I'm saying? So I was saying it must be the chicken inside the hormones that make women grow up faster. You know what I'm saying? So I read that poem. It was a hit. Everybody was like, "Oh my God, that's great! You're gonna come in next week." And I didn't even have another poem. I didn't even have another long poem. I was like, "You're gonna come next week." So then I came next week, wrote another poem, kept going that, and then that's how my desire to be on stage and reading in front of crowds and all that stuff. Still wasn't thinking about television. Still wasn't thinking about television on the Broadway or anything, but reading in front of all these fans, not fans, but people in LA. That's where that began. And then the Poetri Lounge, a spot that I host and co-founded. We get like about 500 people a night, and we were doing our thing, the Poetri Lounge, and Russell Simmons came to the show. We do it every Tuesday. He came, sat up there at the top, loved it. And at the end, he sat us down and said, "Yo, what do you guys think about it? We're doing a show called Deaf Poetry Jam. What do you guys think?" We're like, "Hey, that's good. That's pretty good. Doing the show."
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Like, oh, okay.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I'm having the moment, okay? I'm having the moment, and the reason why I'm having the moment is the Poetri Lounge preceded Deaf Poetry.
Oh yeah. Oh. We've been doing Poetri Lounge for 25 years now.
Oh my goodness.
So it was about five years before Deaf Poetry. And that's what I'm saying. The Poetri Lounge is Deaf Poetry. The DJ, all that stuff. We had that. We had that before anybody had that. We had that before we put together something that we thought was dope. Like, oh, let's have a DJ. Let's have a DJ. Yo, you got the mic, the host, and all that stuff. That was, we get young people in with the music and all that stuff. That's how we did it. And next thing you know, Russell came and said, "We're gonna do this. We're gonna do this Poetri Lounge." Now, if you ask me, I'm saying that Russell got the idea for doing the Poetri Jam from the Poetri Lounge. Don't quote me. You didn't hear me say it. That's
y'all ready for some poetry, motherfuckers?
Yeah. Because we were doing it. So he came that, and on the first episode, he put all four of us on. Me, Shihan, Dante, and Jamel. No, he didn't put Jamel on. But me, Dante, and Shihan, because we were the poets, put us on and took off from there.
So you and Shihan had a relationship before that?
Oh, that's my boy. That's my best friend.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, Shihan is my
goodness.
My road dog.
I'm having a fan moment. Like, I'm having a fan moment again. Okay. Like, I thought I was gonna get through this without having a fan moment. Like, Shihan had the joint with the love joint.
The love like. Yes.
Love, yeah. I wanna. You said the love. I think of you, thinking of me, thinking of you type love. You know what I'm saying? I was like, oh my goodness. Like, just even thinking about it. You see what I'm saying? So I just had the moment. Like, I had the moment.
I was with. I remember when he wrote that poem. We've been. Man, me and him been friends for almost 30 years. About 30 years, 27 years, something like that. That's my dog.
Well, you could tell I'm having a fan moment, okay? So like a fan / supporter. If I went into my DVDs right now, I could pull out each one. You see what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, yeah, I got this, from 1 to 5. You see what I'm saying? So like, but I heard it before I could see it. You see what I'm saying? And hearing it had me to see it. You see what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
So, wow. Yeah. So the Poetri Lounge is in motion, and you go from the Poetri Lounge into the Deaf Poetry. So we could only applaud. I don't know what that was like for you. Was it different coming from LA in that space, going into New York, and then getting on the stage?
We didn't go from LA to New York. LA to San Francisco, because that's where Deaf Poetry Jam went. It was on San Francisco. What's the name of it? Theater in the Square. In San Francisco for 6 weeks, and we still didn't know. We didn't know if we're going. They told us, "Boom, let's do the show in San Francisco." They didn't say nothing about Broadway. I'm still not thinking about Broadway. You know what I mean? Or the television show or whatever. You know what I mean? We did the first season of Deaf Poetry in New York, but then we did 6 weeks in San Francisco. And then after San Francisco, that's when we went to Broadway. But now the show was going on the whole time during this. Deaf Poetry Jam on television was going on. But as far as me going to New York, Broadway. It was after the 6 weeks. Well, about five weeks after the 6 weeks, went to Broadway and brought the houses down. They had never seen nothing like that. Never seen it, and I believe that they'll never see anything like that again because now poets, me and CHIAT say, they got the bug. So we were reading. Honestly, I told you I was reading from my heart because that's what I was doing. I love doing poetry. Now it's too late because the people see that limit can be reached. Like, oh, so let me do my poem like this, and I want to do this, and that's it, and all this. You know what I'm saying? They're not. We had people that did that on stage, Bosie and all this stuff, but that's who they were.
Right.
It was natural for Bosie.
Everything is okay. Like,
Exactly. It's just like that's how we did it. So people after us are imitating us and not. And it's flattery. I'm flattered, but it's not real. It's not as real as what we were.
I heard Rock Baby because I was in Texas at the time. I heard Rock Baby perform the piece that he performed up there. When titties attack. You see what I'm saying? Titty. I heard him rock a place. You see what I'm saying? Out of Dallas. And then he came down to Killeen. I heard him do that live, and then I heard him, do it over there in that poetry. So I was like, so this goes back, for me, this goes back 20 years. You see what I'm saying? So I'm looking at it like, wow, so many spaces that are created. And then, there's so many people that I met from that time that are still pursuing. I had a little stint. I had like 20 whole seconds again, just like, I was an MC. I was like 20 seconds as a poet. I was like, no way I can do what these guys are doing. You see what I'm saying? So I had a chance to marry the two around 2002, 2003. And that was it. I was like, leave it to the professionals, So Christopher Michael and so many of those other ones that are down there that were there, that have been there, that have been dope, for 20 years. I was like, I can't do that, You see what I'm saying? Right. And they were paying poets and chicken wings and shit like that. I was drink tickets. And I was
tickets. It was real. It was real. You get to eat. You come perform, you get to eat. Eat some wings and some fries. That's how it was, boy. Still is that somewhere, I'm sure. Poets haven't got that. Still haven't got the respect that we deserve. Like they'll say, "Can you come down and do a poem?" But they'll say, "Open up for the singer, and the singer's gonna get paid. Singer's gonna get paid. Can you just come out and do a little poem for us?" Like, man, it's not a little poem. It's a poem now. I should get paid for it. And then you can sing it, do whatever. I'm not mad at the singer, but you got to pay the poets. And they don't. I don't think. I wonder when. I don't know when it's going to change. I don't know in my lifetime.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the demand has to be created. We saw another genre that you dabble in. I want to ask, very quickly. You had audience induced, hypnosis poetry to where the crowd is laughing, yet they have to figure out what they're laughing at. They're laughing, but they don't know yet.
Right.
So how does this translate into poetry, the poet, to poetry, the comedian?
Because I never ever said that I was a comedian. People say I'm a comedian a lot of times. Hey, he's a comedian. I'm like, no, I'm a poet, and I got to correct them because almost practically everything that I write. There are a few poems that I know that this is gonna be funny, but for my first poem that I read at World Stage out here in LA, it was called Money. Money poem you played. That poem was a serious poem. Serious as I don't know what. I was in tears as I was reading at the World Stage. I was in tears, and everybody was laughing. And I'm like, is wrong with you? What's wrong with this crowd? This is a serious poem. And then I realized afterwards that I have a gift to relay what's serious and to make it funny. But I didn't know that I could do that. I was like, what? I'm dead serious about this money thing. And people are laughing. So I learned that day that Yah has given me this power. So, and I still write to that day. I still write whatever I write, and it comes out funny. I don't know. Not like if you tell me to try to be funny. My wife tells me all the time, don't try to be funny, man, because I'm not funny when I'm like, I'm gonna say this, that. It's not funny. It's just written from my heart, and I guess I got a funny heart because my heart knows what's funny and comes out on paper, and it ends up being a funny piece. So comedian is never. I'm like you. I tried the comedian for 20 seconds, and didn't go well. It didn't go well at all. So I was like, okay, stick with poetry.
The vulnerability and the relatability and your timing and all of those things all together is what, for the listener, I'm just telling you as a listener, you have it. Like you set it up in the way that comedians set up a joke, but you set it up in the same kind of way, relating something real. They can laugh, you know. Redman said, you know, if you don't get what I'm saying, laugh now, then figure the shit out when you get home. You see what I'm saying? So you really put that on our minds and on our hearts and on our consciousness. So you could start off a poem and say, you know, I have monsters in my stomach. Right. This is an open air scribe for us to search ourselves and our consciousness to see, okay, he knows where he is. Do we know where we are? Because you asked that at the end. Right. Mine are in my stomach. Where are yours?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So we laughed and we had the highs and the ha-ha, the ha-ha. Wait. He asked the question at the end. Where are mine? You know, so I'm searching myself like, oh, okay. So what's my relationship to money? You know, how have I been taught over the years to look at money? This is something deep. So it sounds good and they're just using you money. You understand what I'm saying? Like, so there's a scribe to where it's like, oh, okay, they're just using you money. Like, but how else what's your relationship to money? You know, are you using money? Are you being used for money or by money? You know, all of these things that are there. So you put them out there in a very artful manner, where we search our consciousness unbeknownst to us, and then we might get it way later on. You know, because there are jokes that, you know, Richard Pryor told us that Red Fox, this is why I gave you the Red Fox, because Red Fox did it in such a way that it was so light and so deep at the same time. You know, we might give that to like a Paul Mooney. We might give that to like a Richard Pryor later on. But Red Fox did it. Like he told jokes, but they weren't jokes. So now you see the comedians to where they say these aren't jokes. Right. But they were jokes at a point. You see what I'm saying? Like you wrote them like jokes, but you didn't deliver them like jokes. So you wrote them from your heart and you delivered them from your heart. And because we connected with your heart space, you made it to where we may not have laughed in our life, but we laughed in that moment. We're thinking while we're laughing at the same time. Right. So you hear like a Carlin, you could hear like a Chris Rock. You see what I'm saying? Because, you know, where you are, Robin Harris told jokes. He told jokes. He had joke after joke after joke after joke after joke after joke after joke, but he made you think about the jokes. So he got on by going to the Laugh Factory and killing every comedian in the Laugh Factory, to the owner, to the bouncer, to the barmaids, to the person pouring drinks. He destroyed everybody in there and was like, fuck y'all, I'm out of here. You see what I'm saying? So he's walking out there like, where you going? Like, you're the greatest. You see what I'm saying? So in that space, you caused us to search ourselves with that remarkable timing. So it's like, okay, you could tell us about the beauty of your life and walk with Jesus Christ without telling us your life and walk without Jesus Christ. Like you didn't listen to him, so why would you listen to me?
Right.
But at the same time, we're listening, and we could find value in him through you simultaneously. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, okay, I didn't listen the first time. I didn't listen to this. He died for me. Well, we don't understand what this is. Like, okay, you walk 40 miles to your crucifixion while someone whipping you every step of the way, and you're crucified, outstretched. I didn't get it then. I didn't get where Pontius Pilate washed his hands and said, I can't find no fault in this man. I didn't get it then. So I could get it in a space to where it's warm, it's welcoming, it's powerful, and it's just as impactful, but might even be more impactful because I get it now. Like, wait, I can't do this. I don't want to be Peter.
Right.
I don't want to be Judas in this space. You see what I'm saying? So these are the people that were around him. So I say I love him, and I got a personal relationship with him, but I don't know him.
Yeah.
And I could deny him. And I could be working against him, and I know. So you lay it out in the way it's like, boom, boom. So when you're ready to get it, you got it.
It's there for you. Already know.
I love it. I'm telling you, like it's so brilliant and so beautiful. And then you could give us a hip hop history and call it Waka Flocka. In the same space, you could do it. You could do that and this, and you could be like, "What the flocka are you talking about?" You know and drop it in there like boom. We like, oh. So it's a beautiful thing to say. Okay, I learned of her in this way. You learned of her in this way. I can show you that we learned about her in the same way. It just might be received differently.
Right.
So your art is phenomenal, and the way that you approached it is so beautiful. I want to go into the other gears of you giving back and you creating space for young poets to be able to hone their message and, master their craft in a way. So you got the poetry lounge, but you also put on poetry workshops. Maybe I might have had maybe it was still would have equated to like an hour if I would have known that there was some place where I could go sit at the feet of the great ones and learn. Okay, so instead of 20 seconds, I might have got a whole hour out of it.
Got a whole hour out of it.
Yeah, a whole hour. What was it? What did you see in regards to the need to be able to create a space in regards to, giving back to young poets?
Well, first, for just to open up for poets to be at a place. That's our first reason, because there was nothing around. I mean, that poets could be themselves. We had other poetry readings started before we did, but different, like how we are, and let's do poetry how we do it. So that's why I started hung out with Dante and Chian and Jamel to do the poetry lounge. And the poetry workshops have a specific theme because, as I was telling you earlier, there's so many people that know how to write. They don't know how to perform. So they're doing all this stuff with the hands and all this stuff with the thing. And it taught to take that poem and just talk to us. Talk to me like we're in a conversation. Now, if you use your hands in a conversation, I do. I know I use my hands, so of course I'll use my hands. But don't move nonsensely, not on purpose. Just be who you are. Be you on stage. Be poetry on stage. Read your poem and be poetry on stage. Now, if that's loud, okay, then be loud. If it's quiet, be quiet, because that'll connect the hearts of everybody. Because people can find out when people are fake. You know what I mean? They know for the moment you get up there, oh, he's fake dude. He's not real. I mean, he may be a cool guy, but right now he's being fake. So I taught that to be yourself up on stage. That's what I love doing. I love teaching that. We work on a poem together, and then read that poem that you wrote from your heart, sincerely and genuinely.
So what's been the feedback? Because you are creating a normal that existed, but reestablishing a new normal that didn't exist. So if you look at Nikki Giovanni and those who came before you, I don't know what the relationship is from one generation to another. You see what I'm saying? It may be love. It may have been great. It may have been roses. However, we know from the hop, there isn't a good relationship between the elder generation or the elder statesmen of hip hop versus the newer generation.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So you're mending a space to where it's like, okay, 25 years ago, you decided to do a thing, and then somebody who's coming in now, they may have heard of you, or they may not know you, or whatever the case may be. It's like, oh, I picked up this tool right here, this apparatus, and began to write. So, my friend said I was good, or whoever, whatever, and there's no through line. So you create a through line to say, okay, I love you. Don't do this because this is distracting from your voice.
Voice. They want to hear
Just
you.
this. Right. They want to hear you. Not so much of this. And not so much of this. Everybody doesn't receive that well. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So
unless that's you. Unless that's you. If you talk, because I'm loud. So I won't be normal if I'm talking like this. You know what I mean? But if that's you being loud, then be loud. So it won't be out of the ordinary. When somebody comes and sees you, they're like, "Oh, that's poetry. That's how he is." You know what I'm saying?
Y'all gave us Flow Mentals. Flow Mentals said they call me drama. You see what I'm saying? So the whole crowd is, after a while, at the beginning is this, but by the end of the piece, the whole crowd is like, they call me drama. You see what I'm saying? So that's an inviting space to where it's like, okay, I gotta creep out to you, but by the end of it, everybody's there. You see, so you have those moments. You see what I'm saying? So it's like I had a couple of coins and this, and I had a few pennies, and that added up to, and the crowd's like 50 Cent. Like, okay, we're getting it now. You see what I'm saying? So how does it feel if you're looking at your performances from the Poetry Lounge to now? Did you morph? Did you change? Did you adjust? Or, how does that translate?
Well, two things. First of all, I changed because I had a stroke. I had a stroke in 2018, 2019, something like that. I think it's 18. Well, anyway, so I had a stroke. So I had to get back. I wasn't even talking. I couldn't even talk. I had to learn how to talk. I had to learn how to walk. I had to do all that stuff. And I used to write pre-stroke. I wrote every single day. After the stroke, I'm coming back to writing. I write when I need to. When I need to write something for somebody, I write that. And I'm not writing as much as I used to, which hinders my performance, I guess, because I'm not really practicing, because I wasn't practicing, but when you read every day, you're practicing because you're reading every day. You know what I mean? So, and then we moved out to Victorville. So I'm not by the Poetri Lounge and all that stuff. So my style has changed a little bit, but another thing is I'm getting older, so I have different topics to write about. You know what I mean? I'm more about, I call it Jesus, Yahusha, and Yahuwah is God. So all that stuff. And now I'm about to throw you for a loop when I say this. I'm about to throw you for a loop. Oh gosh, yeah. Should I say it? Should I say it? Okay. So I also have other beliefs. Like I shouldn't tell my belief. I shouldn't say this belief. I shouldn't say it. I'm gonna get killed, not by you, but by the masses. Because this is the crazy. I'm not gonna say this crazy belief I have. I have this crazy belief, and that shapes my poems I write about. This belief. I still believe in God. I still believe in Jesus. It's not religious. It's just, well, it is religious. Okay, I'm gonna tell you. Dang, I'm gonna tell you. Oh shoot. No, I'm not gonna tell you. I'm not gonna tell you. You should know if you watch my Facebook page from 2018 to now. I dabble and tell a little bit on Facebook and stuff. But yeah. So my poetry has changed a little bit related to this subject, because it's a rabbit hole. It's a rabbit hole.
We got a little time for the rabbit hole, okay? The beautiful thing about this place right here is wherever you go on the rabbit hole, we go right with you. You understand what I'm saying?
This rabbit hole is deep. I'm not even at the top. I'm not even finished the rabbit. I'm at the beginning of that rabbit hole. Like, oh, wait a minute. If that's true, then this must be true. Oh, if that's true, this must be true. Oh man, it's long rabbit hole.
It saves me from asking you, Poetri, tell us about your spiritual journey. You understand what I'm saying? Like it saves me the question from asking you about your spiritual journey, because I saw the fringes like everyone else. You understand what I'm saying? So, there's no surprise.
My spiritual journey is, is just, man, he's awesome. He's taken me from where I used to believe to what I believe in now, and it's just a lot of things that that we understand to be truths are not truths. It's been all just a complete lie. Basically a complete lie. And if you start with that, then that begins the rabbit hole. If you think of everything that you've been taught in school is a lie, then you go, and you can go. You each have levels. Like, well, first of all, we're black. The Bible's a Black history book. It's Black people. Period. You know what I mean? There's white people in there, but it started off Adam and Eve were Black. So that goes on to that takes off to this way and talks about all the Black people and stuff. It's crazy. It's crazy. The earth is. It says in Genesis, the first Genesis, chapter 2, verse 3, how there's a firmament. There's a firmament over the earth. A firmament. Mm-hmm. So that means the earth cannot be a sphere, because the firmament doesn't go all the way around the earth. It's a firmament. Boom. Heaven. There's 3 heavens. First heaven, second heaven, third heaven. There's the firmament, first heaven, second heaven, third heaven. So I believe that the earth is flat. Period. Because there's the Antarctica is. Oh man, get me going, because that's why I don't like to talk about it as much anymore as when I first learned, because there's so much. You know what I mean? Like if I just say, "Yo, the Earth is flat, man," you'd be like, "What?" But there's so many reasons why I think that. You know what I'm saying? There's firmament, the Antarctica. It's just a whole slew of things. And that's the elevation of my growth of spiritual. And if that is going on in my spiritual, that takes over into my writing. You know what I mean? I write about us being Black. I write about nigger. there people call it Niger, but it's really nigger, and nigger means black, black Christian or black something, black male. They called I can't think of his name now. They called him that in the Bible in Acts. They called him that as a nickname. They called him nigga as a nickname. It was meant just a nickname out of joy and love. Now the white man took the word nigga, add another G to it, and then they started calling us that as a demeaning to us. But originally it means black king or black princess or whatever it means. So that's another that's another thing. So I write poems about that and all that stuff.
It's a deep awakening, and the beautiful thing about it is it's your voice. You know, whether we ever hear you again, or we listen to you again, or you just write it. You see what I'm saying? Whatever it is, it's your authentic word. So if they can revere Edgar Allan Poe that they never see, you see what I'm saying? Whether it was the Raven or the Cask of Amontillado, and call it, through that realm in regards to, literary history, they could hear your involvement and evolvement in the same fashion. You see what I'm saying? So your involvement and your evolvement, and they don't have to be in conflict. No. So as you learn, because we heard Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., peace and blessings be upon him, evolve.
Right.
From one concept to the next. From I have a dream to why I'm opposed to the war in Vietnam. You see what I'm saying? So, I've been to the mountaintop, even, all of those things. So down to the day before, his assassination, he continued to evolve. He wasn't afraid of it. So he painted a picture and said, okay, you had Moses and Aaron that started off in the journey, but Joshua and Caleb ended the journey. So this was something that was placed with Moses in the burning bush, to Moses adapting into Moses one way, Aaron another way, into what will be created after, and that 40 years and all of those things going. So Joshua and Caleb walking the people into the promised land. You see what I'm saying? So, as the same to our cognitive development, we could be fixed in a certain kind of space until, as psychologists call it, updating our schema. You see what I'm saying? We're not going away from our foundation because our foundation is still set. However, the elevation of that same schema is based on new information that you take along the way.
And some people can't take that. They're like, well, you still believe? Well, you used to be like, but I used to be that way because I'm growing older, and I hope that you're growing older, and that means you're learning more. I know more now at 51 than I did when I was 25. Of course, actually, I hope if I'm the same as I was 25 and I'm 51, I have the same mental capacity and believe the same things. Something wrong with me. I evolve into a different thought process.
Wax wise and wisdom. See what I'm saying? Wax wise and wisdom. That was a part of it, Yeshua had 33. You see what I'm saying? Just as Nipsey. You see what I'm saying? So Tupac and Biggie had 24 and 25. Like so that's it. It goes and it grows. So those spaces, and when you get it, how you get it, and who you get it from. These are all things that go along with the process. So we look forward to however these evolutions take you. You see what I'm saying? And we support them along the way. So it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. You understand what I'm saying? So these monsters that you once had now evolve into spaces to where it's okay for you to translate into your authentic self, and it's ever growing. You may have been like, you might have been Daniel in this space when you gave us, the monsters. It's like, okay, they're there and they want to get fed. Like we just ate and blah, blah, blah. You see what I'm saying? So you might take that on a topical level, but your thirst, your space. So those things that might have been monsters then are wise counsel now. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
The evolution of the process is like, oh, okay, it wasn't the time, seal these things up. Now it's you in the revelator times. You see what I'm saying? The kingdom of heaven is at hand. So now we have to look at these concepts and renew our history and renew our connection to them. And you're right there in the space to be able to be a deliverer because of your character. Islam starts like that. So Muhammad goes to his people. He's like, yo, y'all cool with me? Yeah, you good, Muhammad. So if I got naked and told y'all that there was an army over here on the other side to kill us, what would y'all do? Yo, you good, son? We appreciate you, son. Your word is Bob, right? So it's like, all right, off of that premise, since y'all said that, I'm going to tell y'all some other stuff.
Right.
So the same people was like, yeah, Muhammad was like, oh, what's my man and them doing, yo? You sure stopping our money. You understand what I'm saying? So he's like, oh, okay, we trusted you until now you bugging. You got to be bugging. So.
Oh, shoot. Hold on. Sorry about that. Hold on.
It's all good.
That's my wife.
That's the truth. So
yeah, she's disabled. She's my wife has MS, so she's bedridden. So when she calls something, I got to.
Hey, final thoughts for the family. We will not hold you. We love her. We love you, and we love what you were able to give us and share with us tonight. So final thoughts and let family know how they can reach you, how they can book you, because you're still booking. I know you're still booking out here in the streets.
Of course, always till the day I die. Hit me up on if you want to. Well, hit me up on Facebook, on Twitter. Twitter is a Deaf Poet Poetry. Leave me a message on Twitter. That's the easiest thing. That's what I'm on most time. It's Deaf Poet Poetry. Leave me a message. Deaf Poet Poetry. Poetry spelled Poetri, of course. And then if you're ever out in these woods, these hills over here, I'm in Adelanto. We put on a show called Spoken Funk. Been doing it for 12 years. Not in Atlanta. We did it in LA for 12 years. Now we're just starting to put it out here, and it's comedy and poetry. I got that idea from the Broadway play because it was comedy and poetry, even though it's set in poetry. So we decided to put two real comedians and two real poets up every night, and they love it. It's a show. You cry, you laugh in 1 minute, you cry in the next minute. It's crazy. So that we do that every once a month. The next one is September 3rd, Labor Day weekend. Come on out. And the address is the website is spokenfunkhd.com. spokenfunkhd.com. That's about it.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure I gave him the website.
Oh.
Spoken Funk HD.
Yeah, .com.
Yeah, so I'm definitely pulling up to a Spoken Funk function.
Yes.
Yeah, you'll renew my trust and faith of a space like Victorville. You understand
what I'm saying?
Because I got awful experiences from the Army, from the military, Victorville and Yuma and all those places. You see what I'm saying?
Wow, yeah. Come on out here and get renewed because it needs it. It needs it.
But it's the same space where I picked up this apparatus, and whoever finds what I wrote in my little green book out of there, in that poetry space, I think they're a billionaire. You understand what I'm saying? 'Cause I wrote some things out there. You're out there getting chased by coyotes and chasing coyotes and all kinds of stuff out there.
Crazy out here.
It gets you into space, where the sun is mad disrespectful at like 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning. You know what I'm saying?
And there ain't nothing to do out here. There's nothing to do out here. So that's why me and my wife decided to bring our show out here, because there's a need. So there's a need for humor, laughter, poetry. Because we didn't even know that there's this many poets out here. And we said poetry comes, like, what? Poetry? They're striving for that. You know what I mean? So that's why we did this.
That's love.
Yeah, I said go where there's a need, man. We did.
Right. So we'll be there. Myself and my brother Che Black, we coming out to California in September, as a matter of fact. So we'll be out there. We'll be out there. So from LA on up or down or wherever, however it goes.
Come on out here. Hey. Sorry about that. Woo!
Hey, it's all good. You earned it. Honest to you, honest to your family, love and honor to you. May y'all continue to strengthen you and your family in the space of honor, in the space of love, and in the space of true sincerity to continue to help uplift our fallen humanity.
There you go. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Truly blessed. Thank you for that.
All right. And hopefully we can get a part 2. You know what I'm saying? So.
Part 2 coming up.
All right, my brother.
All right, man. All right, see you later. Peace, everybody.
Peace. That was award-winning transformationist, our brother, whose name yields to what he does in the same fashion, poetry. So if you like what you heard, subscribe to the show, www.youtube.com/Do the Knowledge Radio. That's DOTHAKNOWLEDGERADIO. Shout out to the family coming through. And we got the 3K for 3K. Cash App, PayPal. Cash App, $ knowledge won't allow. PayPal.me/Do the Knowledge Radio. So we in the building. All right? Peace.
Yeah. Now we gonna tell them. Night in front. We tell them like this, yo. I'm an African. I'm a African. I'm an African. I'm a African. Yeah, y'all like that? No more. This man's mind is open. I'm an African. I'm a African. I'm an African. I'm a. Let's get back to the
motive is best developed by recognizing the common enemy.